Absolutely perfect. Luna Keller, Laura J here on June 18th, 2024 at 12:12 Eastern, where I am. Luna Keller, where are you?
I am in Germany and it is 12 past 6 p.m. here.
Amazing. So we are in this moment together, but each of our time frames are different in the lives that we lead independently of one another. And we're coming together again after 3 years of knowing each other.
Yeah, it's been a ride.
Hasn't it been?
Absolutely. It's just lovely to see how I absolutely love this about how international, like, kind of this community has become in general, like the community of music loving and music making people. Like, I know so many cool people, and sometimes even if we don't catch up for a while, it's a little bit, I always use that metaphor of when you like have family that lives further away and they have like a kid and you kind of see it like grow up really fast because you see it every couple of months and it's like, oh, it's walking. Oh, it's going to school. Oh, it's got a boyfriend. What?
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same. I feel like sometimes with like friends, like you are in the distance, just kind of seeing each other's projects evolve, and every time you look, it's like, wow, another awesome thing she's done, and it's really fun to witness.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we can both say that because we've both been doing quite a lot in our own realms. And what I would really love to focus on today, in addition to saying that album 24 is underway, and you're going to be part of that as you were with the first two albums, though with everything that you've got going on in your own world, your participation will depend on your ability to manage all that you're doing. So, if you want to let people know what Luna Keller Music is up to now, that's your handle, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's Luna Keller music. Oh wow, what am I up to? I'm up to a lot of things. I just did a grounding meditation earlier today because I feel like my brain is just in so many places at once, and sometimes I just need to come home a little bit. Main thing that I'm wrapping up at the moment is the biggest project I've ever done. Ocean Inside of Me. It's a deeply personal album about, oh yeah, my recovery from depression, struggling with mental health, and then finding my way back to self acceptance, self love. Very personal, very ambitious project. I had 10 songs, 10 music videos that are interconnected. We actually kickstarted that one with a crowdfunder, which was surreal that all worked out. I went to Latvia, filmed like 10 music videos in 5 days, connected with amazing musicians while working on these songs. And now I've been releasing a song a month for since October. So the full album's coming out next month in July. And I'm very excited. So I'm kind of in the finals of that, just kind of wrapping up releases, marketing strategies, and also like coming to terms with that this huge chapter of music that I was working on for years is now out there, and crying while holding a beautiful CD. I'm very proud of this. She's very
Yay! Oh my God, that's beautiful, Luna.
Thank you. So that's kind of the thing that's ending now, and that I'm very happy and fulfilled around. And at the same time, I'm planning my first visit to the US at the moment as well, which I'm super excited about. And my idea is while I'm there to record an acoustic EP with some songs. I want to call it rescue songs, and it's going to be songs that my audience and my supporters choose. So I'm gonna let go of control of which songs will be on that project. So it's quite an interesting one. I'm currently working out the logistics and how that's going to work. But I'm also very excited about that one, especially after doing such a kind of me focused, very curated, very like perfectionistic to my vision album with shout
Mhm.
out to the wonderful Dominic Romano producing, who's just incredible. It's really nice to now kind of create something a bit more playful, organic, and invite a lot of people to be a part of that. So I'm excited about that. And I could probably talk about like 15 other things. I'm working on a lot of wonderful collabs, about nine of them, I think, with other artists that I'm very excited and honored to be a part of. And of course, I've got my wonderful Twitch fam that I keep streaming for and love streaming for. My lovely lunatics, as they have decided to call themselves. I
Oh
have
my
to say
God, I
that.
love it.
I have my radio show, which is still going strong. Why doesn't everyone know these songs? I just came back from tour Poland, Germany, and Netherlands. Part of that with my great friend Dom Malin. So yeah, I could talk for a very long time, but I'm doing what I love. I'm feeling really passionate and fulfilled doing it, and there's a lot of exciting things at the horizon, and also a lot of exciting things happening right now.
Yes. Wow. Well, I feel so blessed to get to even share this space and have these conversations and to be connected with you through album 24. And that project is really designed to build the artists and the community in order to be able to participate in a collaborative effort. And as one who was literally on the very first meeting that we ever had, I just want to say that literally you are a large part of why this album and the second one and now this third one are even a reality. Do you realize that?
I guess I don't really, because you always focus more on I guess what others bring to the table than what you do yourself. At least that's what I like to do quite often. But I do have very fond memories of that. It was actually deeply impactful to me. The connections and the music of that first project, they were a big part of my healing journey and of where I ended up. Actually, I don't think the Oceans album would be what it was without some of the connections I made through that album. So I'm very, very grateful that I got to be a part of that. And it's just really, really wonderful how, all these artists are coming together to send some light and some love and some joy into the world through their music. It's just a wonderful thing to be a part of.
Yeah. And then as an independent artist, it's a very lonely journey. And as being in your early 20s, as an influencer that is fully committed to being an artist that does the tours, that makes the albums, that takes projects from start to finish, that actually goes the whole distance and backs it up, like your videos are exceptional that you make with the music that you also make. It's like you do all of it, are part of all of it, and you surround yourself with people that help you become better.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, I don't think I have felt lonely um, in the last year or so. And maybe at the beginning I did a little bit because it's always harder to connect at the beginning when I started being a full-time independent artist. But now I just feel like I'm part of this huge crew on this huge ship, and like all these independent artists, all these people that are excited about music and about connecting and sharing that connection are part of this ship. And I have friends that are also independent artists, and we do checkup calls every 2 weeks and set goals for each other, motivate each other, cheer each other on. And I have all these incredible people that, as you say, they make me better. My music videos, I could never create something of that quality with my current knowledge by myself. I have like just the most incredible people in my life. The wonderful Paul Camarero, cinematographer, who brought some amazing professionals, and my wonderful friend whose Pacific K is his musician name. Everyone should check out his music. It's very, very good. Kristaps, he was the one who was like, hey, I'm going to help you with locations and places and contacts in Latvia to film these videos. So it's just Dominic Romano, who produces my music and just puts it on a whole different level. Sam Moses with its masters. Like, I could spend a whole hour just probably listing names of people without whom the things that I make would not exist, or not exist in the shape that they do. And I'm just genuinely really grateful. And a lot of these people have also become really dear friends of mine. And I think that's also the beauty, because when you're creatives talking to each other, you speak the same language.
Mhm.
And it can often be that the people like directly in your life, kind of family you were born into, which in my case, I'm super lucky because they do speak that creative language too, but it's not always the case. That they don't all speak that language, and it's really, really nice when you're in these creative spaces and working on these projects, the way you just kind of click and you don't even need words. It's just like, okay, we're making this thing. And even if we're using different media of expression, like Davide Fantuzzi, who directed the videos, might be more on the video side of things, and more on the audio side of things, but we are sharing a vision. We both want to say something. We both have a message, and we can come together and create something and share those expertise, because ultimately that connection is the same, that connection to creativity, to ourselves. And it's just really, really beautiful. And I think I've never felt so connected and so genuinely grateful for the community around me in my life as I do now. Like, I'm just constantly blown away by the incredible people that I get to be connected to. It's just such a gift. And for me, it's extra special because I grew up kind of a little bit as an outsider in school. I got bullied. I actually changed schools because of that. It was not very fun, and I did feel very lonely, and I did feel very misunderstood. And now having this vibrant community around me is just like, sometimes I'll just before sleep cry a little bit because I'm so grateful. It's just a really, really wonderful thing.
Wow. That's amazing. And I had no idea that you actually switched schools because of bullying, because I did too, actually.
It sucks. I'm sorry
Yeah.
you had to go through that. Yeah.
How old were you?
That would have been cuartos, I think 14.
What
Uh,
grade?
and I was in Spain, so I don't know if the grades translate. It was cuarto de primaria, so actually no, I would have been 10. I would have been 10. Yes.
You were 10 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's very early to transfer.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, as well, in Spain, you start going to school when you're 3. So there was like a couple of years before that, right? So, but yeah, I genuinely, I just had to recalculate. I haven't actually visited that space in a while. I just realized, but um, yeah, I think I was lucky because I had a very loving and supportive home, and I think that really, really helped. That
Mhm.
especially when making that decision, and that taught me something really valuable as well for later in life, that when you're not in the right place, it's okay to move on
Mhm.
and find your place and find your people. You don't have to try to save a sinking ship if no one else is helping you get out the water out. So it's in the end a thing that really, yeah, taught me to be who I am, I guess. And even though I would not wish it on anyone, it was not a great experience. I've been trying to just kind of reframe these kind of negative experiences as lessons and learning experiences, and something I can draw from, something that gives me a deeper understanding of all the colors of life, which is not always possible. Like, sometimes it's just depressing and sad, and that's okay. But it's nice to try.
Yeah. Well, you have a great attitude and approach to life, and you really aim to do your best. And you're very humble. So I know whenever I'm complimenting you, you sit there feeling very uncomfortable, or it seems that way.
Not uncomfortable. I do appreciate it because for me, positive words of affirmation, they're a love language for me for sure. Like, anyone who I love will know this. I will constantly tell them how amazing they are. I would constantly tell them how proud I am. I will constantly be like, ah, because it's just my natural way of expressing
Yeah.
appreciation. So I also receive that really kindly, and it does make me feel really comfortable. But I guess there's always like that little voice in our head, that little imposter syndrome, right? That's like, oh, these are high expectations, and am I really this good? Or like that's a voice that exists, that has space as well, and that's okay. So maybe that one still controls my body language sometimes when I receive a compliment. But in general, I do really appreciate it. It does really help me kind of reaffirm the path that I'm on. So thank you.
Thank you very much for being so honest and candid. And I've learned that is your natural way of being in this world, which is also very commendable because that's how I am also. And I didn't realize that not everyone is more committed to being aligned with truth than with doing it a certain way. Like there's the commitment to the policy or the protocol, and then there's commitment to the process. It's
Mm.
like the policy and protocol don't always allow for the process to unfold, especially not organically, which is really the way I live my life. And I feel like you also operate similarly because whenever we've connected and we've talked about things, it's very much a heart decision that is also backed with the head's go ahead.
I think it's something I've recently been kind of trying to fully embrace a little more fearlessly. Is that intuition, that hard kind of decisions that come really from here, and to really trust that voice, which I have been doing. But I think there's always this little part of my head that it's like, oh, we must be rational. We must, we must understand why we're doing this. Why does this feel right and why does this feel wrong? Tell me why. And I'm like, I cannot tell you, but I know. And it's kind of learning to trust that. But it's crazy how when you really let yourself fall into that voice and align with, well, I think kind of the purpose or the thing that you've come to the earth to do, which for me is make art and connect to people through it, then that voice gets louder, it gets more confident, and it leads to really wonderful things. And I keep experiencing this over and over again, that when I trust the journey instead of trying to implement rules or expectations that are actually not mine, the journey opens the right doors for me. And it's strange because I am a spiritual person, but I'm also someone who loves science and who loves getting rational explanations for things. And sometimes trusting this voice or trusting this intuition, and it feels a little bit like something I can't back up. And then I feel my rational mind kind of being like, why are we trusting this right now? Fear, flight. And then I'm like, wait. It's working out. So it's a balance I'm finding, but in general, I feel like I've gotten better and better at just quieting down and listening more to that voice. Also listening more to my body, to my needs, to what I embody, to really the reaction of my body to things, which is, it seems so maybe strange to some people when I say like, oh no, like my belly tells me that this business decision is not ideal right now. It's like, what's your belly got to do with it? I'm like, I don't know, but it knows. But it's, I think, just kind of a continuous and exciting journey in life to align more and more. And it's not linear. Like there will always be times where we fall back into patterns of fear and doubt, and there will always be times where things don't align quite the way, or we don't react quite the way that we want to, from love, from excitement, from compassion to ourselves, to the world, to others. But I think in general, you can just keep creating a better and better relationship to your own intuition and to your own heart, so that even when those things and those moments and those doubts come, you can kind of overcome them in a more loving and caring way.
Yeah. And then from a left wing kind of perspective, how would you say that the intuition connects to your inner artist?
Hmm. I think they're probably just the same. I think they're the same entity. I think that I'm reading a book at the moment. I'm almost done. It's called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Great book about creativity. And there was one thing that she wrote, which was like, we must not be masters or slaves to creativity. So we can be something more exciting. We can be its collaborators. And I think to answer your question, I'm not just going on a tangent here and quoting the book because it's cool. I think it's I feel like I'm a collaborator, and my intuition, my creative voice, and in the end it's the same, right? Because my intuition is creating my path for me, and I'm creating songs. Like it's all creativity. It's the force of creativity. They are my collaborators, or they are my collaborator. Sometimes they might be two different entities, or the same, but in the end I feel like it's kind of just this this connection that feels, it feels spiritual, it feels a little unexplainable and wonderful and magical. The book's called Big Magic, and great book. I'm madly obsessed with that book. I think I'm annoying people at this point just talking about that book all the time. But it's just yeah, it is that kind of magical feeling, that connection, that collaboration with intuition, of creativity, that I'm noticing to be really similar or the same. Because in the end, when I'm songwriting, I'm letting myself fall into my inner artist, right? Like I'm just trusting and following and not imposing rules. Like the best songs are written when I don't build walls in which they must fit. The best songs are written when I sit down and I let a song exist that just wants to exist right now. I'm basically just a vessel for it. And in the same way, when intuition comes and tells me, It works best when I trust it, when I follow it, and not when I block it. So in a way, I feel like they might be the same entity, but I'm just never really asked that question myself before. So I'm kind of figuring it out as I reply, as you might be noticing.
Yeah, well, I think this is the big piece that so oftentimes we compartmentalize all of the little things that we do. And then we forget that all of those things that we do are actually part of, as you refer to it, the entity of the creative aspect of us.
Mm.
And what is an entity but a thought form that accrues energy because we give it ours? So for us to then put the child in the same category as the artist and the creative and the writer and the drawer and the painter and the sawer and all of the things that we can do, if we put all of that into that box, I wonder if that is a way for us to see how all of those different identities feed the entity.
Perhaps, yeah. I think in many, many conversations that I've had with other people, people that are dear to me, but maybe have like very different opinions, and we might have had a conversation or two in that direction as well, actually. Very often, we are talking about the same thing with different words.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, we both have this intention, this belief in goodness and you know, I don't know, freedom and connection and love and all these things. But we've found different boxes to build around it, to define it. And very often it comes from the same place, but we can still talk for hours as kind of opposing sides of an argument because in the end we've defined it differently. So maybe that is similar to what you just described, where there's parts and voices of ourselves that might be in conflict sometimes, but it really all want the same thing. Like even fear can be helpful, right? It can be a good voice if we give it space, and let it talk to us, and then say, "Hey, okay, I see where you're coming from, but I think we can still do this." It can be a teacher, and in the end, fear maybe also wants to see us succeed and safe and comfortable, and you know, expressing ourselves and being bold. So, yeah, perhaps all those voices are just part of one, part of us, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And then stopping chopping parts that don't fit as well into the overall experience of us out and figuring out how to actually have those parts of us as us and to not judge the whole of us for the one aspect of us, and
Mm.
then to also extend that nicety or liberty to others also, to recognize that we are not our behaviors.
Yeah.
Yet, this is also actually where identity comes into the frame in a bigger way, with this leveling the playing field ode to Laura Lee's course that I've just created, that I'm actually bringing into the album 24 experience. Because what I believe is that if we are to level the playing field, I believe that artists need to know how to actually protect your rights
Mm.
and your intellectual property. So that when you're signing contracts, you're not contracting yourself into such a small box that in the end, you've got nothing left and creative juice to be able to actually produce.
Yeah, it's really, really important. And I think a big part of why we might fall into those traps sometimes is also our sense of self-worth
Mhm.
and us defining ourselves by a certain voice or a certain part of ourselves. So I think one of the biggest challenges as an artist, probably as a human, to be honest, but as an artist, it's kind of more public for everyone to see. It's kind of recognizing your own value and knowing that what you create has worth, what you create deserves support, and it has value, and you put it out there. And I think I know way too many artists that have not fully embodied that yet. They might be able to speak it, but they haven't truly found the that voice in them which is like, yes, what I do deserves support, what I do is mine, I own this, I've made this, but it's also something I get to share with the world. And then it's way easier to sign a contract that's shitty or to give away rights because you don't recognize how valuable what you're giving away is. So it's something I've been thinking about a lot. And I had the strongest imposter syndrome when I started my music career. Like when we met, I was still fully inside of that. Like everyone around me is so good. What am I even doing here? Oh my god! And I think now I've gotten to this point where I'm absolutely aware that I have a lot to learn, a lot to grow, and there's a lot of people out there that are so incredibly skilled, and I'm not getting like arrogant, because that's of course also the balance, but I'm also now aware of the fact that I'm good at what I do,
You are.
and and I it has value. It is something I'm really really proud of, and um, I'm allowed to celebrate that. I'm allowed to go out there. I'm allowed to defend that. I'm allowed to say no when people don't recognize that and they want to just exploit it, or just take it for granted. And I'm allowed to stand my ground because I have that foundation of knowing now that what I do has worth. So it's really really valuable, and I think what you're doing there with teaching people how to protect it and how to find that value and see that value is really important.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I think that it is essential because so many people get the man, the myth, and the legend mixed up. And those are three separate entities because the man is separate from the myths that are made about the man. And then the legend is separate from the myths that created the legend because each of those myths became parts on the map that were made about the man that now have nothing to do with the man because the legend is what's left, not the man himself.
Are you applying this to artists in a little bit of the way of like what we show the world or what the world sees, or the picture that we paint of ourselves? Yes, what actually is happening on the inside? Or I'm trying to follow here.
There's also that element as well, yes. So there is the element of the private life, public life, and secret life. It's like we have those masks that we're willing to show people with different access points to our energy. But then what I was referring to more, I kind of lost my train of thought.
That's okay. We were talking about value and self-perception, I guess. And yeah, then you talked about man, myth, legend, and how that's separate from each other.
I love it. I just wanted to let you finish recapping. It was the man, the myth, and the legend, and the confusion of the man with the myth and then the legend. When the legend is completely separate from the man himself, as is the myth. So then there can be myths made about men that step into the myth, and then multiple men can step into the myth. And then that creates the legend that tales are made of, and then folklore is made of, and then the folks tell the lore, and then the lore is ultimately the way that we start to shape our worldview based on the stories that we've taken in. And then this is why children's stories are so important, actually, to actually get back to what's going into the boy that becomes the man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess it's kind of the myths and the legends that then create expectations and definitions of ourselves, and then we become the myths, we become the legends of others, and those are the patterns we need to try to break through when we find our path back to ourselves.
Yeah. And also breaking free of the myths that we've made about ourselves that are not true nor kind as well. Like,
Yeah.
how many stories have we bought into that some bully told us when we were 10 before we left where we didn't need to be in order to then define ourselves for the rest of our lives?
Yeah.
Like, I remember back when I switched schools halfway through grade 10 because I had been told by one of the my nemesis, quote unquote, the girl that, I came partway through grade one, and like then I was competition with her best friend. And then I was also really energetically sensitive, and I really wanted her to like me. And so I created that vulnerability of needing to be liked. And so she became the nemesis that could take her power away from me anytime she didn't want me to have it. So power is attention, right? And so it was this dynamic. And one day she said to me, Laura, one day you're going to say the wrong thing to the wrong person and you're going to get your ass kicked, and I'm going to stand there and laugh. And I was just like, wow, I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want to get hurt. And also, I didn't want to be in a space where people were just waiting for that. And so, our school at the time was on the verge of closing, and every number counted. And I remember it so clearly. And I was going to ask you when you shared your story earlier about whether you had any lashback for the decision to go. Because in my circumstance, the school was on the verge of closing. Every number counted, and now Laura announces that she's going to go to a Catholic school, and I wasn't even Catholic,
Mm.
right? And so I wonder if you have ever felt like you were just a number, or that you were needed to be the number and felt obliged to stay, and could you? And for how long, and what were the consequences if you did?
I mean, I must also say that I was really young when all this happened, so I didn't grasp as fully, I guess, the scope of it at the time. For me, it was just like I was coming home crying a lot, and at some point, my parents were the ones who were like, maybe this doesn't make sense, maybe this is not the place for you, and maybe we should consider it. And I remember them being really supportive of that decision. And I didn't have a really good connection in general to that school. Like, I don't remember. I have amazing memories of teachers of schools after that I had deep connections with, that were really supportive, that, kickstarted my creativity, and that were just absolutely incredible. I remember when I decided to leave my other school to go to art school, like the director of my school literally hugged me because he was so happy that I was following my path. So after that, I had like a lot of really positive things, but I've have very, very few clear, incisive, positive memories from that school, which probably says a lot about why it was important to leave. And um, I don't think I had that feeling of being a part of it, so I also couldn't feel guilt for leaving it,
Mhm.
because I didn't feel responsible for it. I felt responsible for myself, and for that. And of course, there was voices in my head that were like, you're giving up, you're giving in, you're losing, they're winning if you go, or something like that. Like, but I don't remember it from a systematic view. I've definitely had occasions in my life where I've been a part of projects that I had to carry, both in school group projects where I was giving a lot, and that was needed. And I knew I wanted to leave, but I didn't as quickly as I should have, because I knew I was needed. I've definitely had that later in life, but in that particular instance, and as I said, I don't have, like, I was so young, I don't have the clearest of memory of everything, of that time. It's actually something that I'm still working through a little bit, and uncovering, and also finding where some of those voices come from, because that's what I actually got when I started working, while I was depressed, kind of working with meditation, working inwards and reprogramming. That's when I actually started seeing that young version of myself that I'd kind of pushed away for a long time to not really face that trauma, and talking to her and seeing what she was thinking. So I think I'm not quite there yet to see that chapter with enough clarity to give you like 100% certain answer around that question, except for that I don't recall distinctly having that feeling at the moment.
Well, I love all of it. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to know you and your character and everything that you're doing in the world and your ambitions for it. I know that you're starting your podcast or your Stitch stream at 1 o'clock. And so I want to honor the fact you're going to need some time to get ready for that. And I also would love if you would tell people you've been doing a Stitch stream for 3 years now, you said.
I've been doing Twitch for 3 years, yes.
Twitch, not
Uh,
Switch. Sorry. Okay.
yeah, it's all good. It's a weird name for a streaming platform. It's like anytime I tell people like Twitch, like twitching, it's
Yeah.
like yes. Twitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
think Twitch.
um I started during the pandemic because I couldn't really play live as much, and it genuinely saved my music career at the time.
Right.
Um, yeah, just also emotionally, just to have people to connect to in that time was like invaluable for me. It's wonderful. It's not, for those that don't know it, it's not as much of a concert. It's more of a hangout, I like to say. So I have a song list. People request songs. That's what. Oh, you can't see it on Zoom, but I already have it on OBS. You'll see it later on stream. I have like the little list of requests in the top, and people can request songs. So I don't really choose which songs I play unless I decide to go rogue, which I do once in a while. And it's more people connecting in chat. People know each other. It's kind of this almost family that just meets twice a week to talk, to share songs, to share moments. If someone had a bad day, I'll play their favorite song. And if I have a bad day, I'll be really honest about it on Twitch. I don't go and put up a facade like I might have to if I'm booked for a concert where I feel like I need to deliver. And Twitch is more like, okay, guys, I'm feeling super bad today. I've put my 3 favorite songs in the song list right now that are super sad. I'm going to play them, cry a little, and then I'll be with you. And I just do my thing. And it's just a really safe and open and caring space where I've met so many incredible people, made so many friendships, and yeah, just another thing I'm really, really grateful for.
Wow. How beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what goes into having a Twitch platform or a podcast? Like, what goes into having that?
I think you need to have time to at least stream consistently once a week, ideally. Twice. I do twice usually. It is okay if that's not always the case. Like if I'm on tour, I I don't stream for a week or two, and that's all right. But especially at the beginning and building, I think Twitch appreciates that. And the concept is a little bit, you can imagine, as the favorite TV show that comes on every Wednesday evening. Like you just know that it's there, you can show up, and that's the thing that people know. Okay, it's Tuesday evening, Luna's gonna stream. So it's kind of this knowledge. So I guess consistency is one thing that you need. It does require time. It's time extensive, and and that's okay because it's wonderful, but it's something to know when you get into it, I think.
Yeah.
um, you want to have technically a setup. I mean, I started just with my computer camera and a USB mic. Now I have this and the mixer and the big camera and all the fancy stuff, but you can start simple and build from there, I think. um, and I think the most important thing is a willingness and openness to connect to people. I always say this: it's not for every artist. If you're an artist that like is quite shy and just wants the music to speak for itself, which I've had quite often, like just people. This is not to say that's bad. That's great. You just create music, and music is the vessel. And you're not that person forward where it's also about you and your story, and you don't want to show your face that much. Then Twitch might not be the best platform for that kind of approach, because it is very much community and connection based. So you have to be ready to engage with people, to see people, to take time to also hear their stories, to share the space.
Mm.
Twitch streamers and musicians, they rate each other. So at the end of my stream today, we will go into the stream of someone else, and support them with all the viewers. So it's a very community based and
Oh,
very
that's
much
awesome.
seeing each other and supporting each other. So I think you need to be a bit of a social creature for this platform for sure.
Fantastic. Well, I am super excited to learn the ropes from you today, Luna, and I'm going to dip my toes into the Twitch pool too.
I'm
So,
very
how do pardon?
I'm very excited about that for you.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I appreciate having the opportunity to learn from you in the meantime, because you're obviously an artist that's playing music, and I'm more looking to be a speaker that has a podcast. So, how does that platform actually suit both of our needs the way that I'm pretty sure you said that it could?
Yes, so it's a just chatting is a very big category. I mean, Twitch comes from gaming, actually. It was originally a place where people would stream video games and people would watch and interact around that. And then the just chatting category actually came up before the music category, and it's just people that talk. So it's podcasts, interviews, it's talking to your audience. So what I just mentioned about the interactive element as well. And it's kind of, I guess, what seeps through, or why music is so interactive, is because the platform is rooted in that. It's in that exchange, in that conversation. So it's a different category within the platform, but it's a very popular one, and it's a great place for that because of its ability to connect and its support of that. It's kind of why I guess Twitch music is so awesome. It's because the origin of the platform is more on talking and connecting than on music originally.
Very cool. Well, I don't know of very many other people that would be able to share as much about Twitch as eloquently as you did. So Twitch can give a big thank you to Luna Keller, and me, Laura J, with album 22, 22 plus, and now album 24. Very excited. Jared Wade out of the US. And now with this album, we've got some other contributors as well coming on board more locally for me here in Canada to be able to really start harmonizing us the way that all of these albums have always been designed to do. We're actually doing it in our communities one step at a time with the communities that each of us have as the pools that we like to swim with. So, Luna, I'm grateful to be able to swim with you, even though your pool's a lot further away or downstream, upstream. But I'm looking forward to your stream and to hearing what goes into it and touching base again. I'm going to share as well the link for the last interview Luna and I did back like 2 or 3 years ago when the first album launched back in 2022.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely to talk, and I guess for me now, I'm gonna prep a little for stream. I already did most of the setup things. I'm gonna choose a nice title so people can get notified, and just get ready a little bit. I don't know if you want me to share any of that with you. If you prefer to take a little break before coming into stream, I'm happy to do either. But yeah, it's been really, really lovely to talk, in a really nice way to. I feel like I'm in an energy of gratitude and appreciation now that fits the stream really well. So I'll claim
Yay!
it.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm so grateful. Luna, yeah, if you wanted to actually do it and share your screen, you'd be more than welcome to show us what it looks like to set up a Twitch streams title. And that titling process is certainly a topic of discussion for a whole session, I would say.
Yeah, we can absolutely do like a full session at some point too. I think you should be able to see my screen now.
We can. Yeah, we're at the stream manager there. You're on.
This is the back end of Twitch.
Oh,
Uh,
woohoo!
I can choose a title just by clicking on stream info. The title from my last stream is still there. Usually for the standard streams, I don't go that much fancier, but sometimes I will change it up. So I like to put the day of the week in there. I don't know why. And I like to alliterate. So Tuesday Tunes it is, because that's fun. Um, and I think I'm probably just not gonna perform under pressure right now and just leave it that way. But it's sometimes I will feeling grateful or feeling high. I've got like a chill moment. I'll be like, I'm feeling like super chill, wonderful, or I'm feeling, and just like add that into the stream, give people an idea of the vibe of the day. So this is like a more neutral kind of title. And then I can add to it in any way. And you'll also notice that I have exclamation mark SL and exclamation mark music in the title. Exclamation mark SL is a command that you can put in chat to get access to the song list. So this is for any new viewers that might not know which commands are the most relevant. So I'll usually always put the two most relevant commands into the title. So exclamation mark music is just, we'll put all the links to my music in chat. So when you type that in chat, it triggers those links to appear in chat. So yeah, if I have a new song, I might change the title to exclamation mark lighter than before. My new song coming out on the 27th of June, everyone. Um, so yeah, I might or might do exclamation mark pre-save or whatever is currently important. Then I have the category; it's automatically chosen, so you can see music, the category music. But I could also, say I'm, as I mentioned earlier, just chatting, which you can see is a really popular category as well. You
Wow.
can stream in any category. Like you don't have to be just a music streamer, just a gaming streamer, just chatting streamer. You can also do music streams, but then once in a while do interviews or whatever. So that's really easy to switch around. And then you can also add some tags so new people can discover you for that. And that's basically it. The stream info is updated, and I also have, you might have seen it here in the corner, might be a little nauseating, but this is OBS, so this is kind of my stream technology. This is what you will see on screen later. So you can see that I have
How do
the
you
kind of,
get that? Oh my God, I need to know how to do this.
it's a lot. Like as you said, it could be just an extra thing to talk about all of it, but it's all just kind of set up. So these actually update with the people that have like most recently donated or supported or cheered or followed the stream. So if you were to follow me right now, then your name would appear there. I need to activate stream labels for that to happen actually, so it can actively feed it. And this in the top corner here is the little song list. So there, the title of the song, the artist, and who requested it will show up later when people start requesting songs.
How
Um,
cool.
that works over streamer song list, which I have here. So yeah, it's a lot of technology, but as I said, when you get started, and this is also music related, like you won't need a song list as a podcaster. But when you get started, you can just kind of keep it simple. But I have like, yeah, about almost 400 songs now people can request. Wow, that's crazy. I wasn't even aware it's grown that much. And yeah, if I now like request a song from here, it's not letting me do it right now. That's okay. I can just add it manually because I have requests closed at the moment still. If I just add a song, I don't know. Boxes. That seems fitting. Then this will show up on the. You can see it shows up here on the
Oh,
stream. So
cool. Can we listen to boxes? You got 1 minute until your stream starts. And a huge, huge, huge thank you, Luna.
thank you for having me. I will play boxes at the beginning of the stream, so you'll hear it then. It's already in the list. I'm
Yay!
also very chill about stream starts. I have a reputation for being late, actually. So if there's any last question you want to ask, it's okay if I start 2 minutes later.
I love that all your details are on the screen already. How would people donate to you most appropriately or support you in your music?
On Twitch, there is an exclamation mark donate button, so you can directly tip for the concert, a little bit like a virtual hat that goes around. In general, I have a Patreon. Patreon is helping me out loads to keep doing what I do. That you can support monthly, get access to behind the scenes, and a lot of exciting stuff. I'm working on some demos at the moment that the patrons are going to pick one of my next songs out of. So that's really exciting. And yeah, also just for free, a great way to support me is to just follow me on social media, be a part of my journey, leave a nice comment on a song, listen to the songs on streaming platforms. It's Luna Keller everywhere. All of those things help me out immensely. And the CD is already available in my web shop, lunakeller.com, as well. There's 2 unreleased songs on there, so if you order it now, you get some exclusive access to those.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, I think that's the most relevant things. And
Oh,
be nice to someone today. That always supports me.
you said what?
Just be nice to someone today. Be kind to someone today. That always supports me and the whole world.
Oh, you're so beautiful. And you had music notes on your screen.
Oh, that means someone's already in chat, I would say. Let's look, let's look. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. That's one of my moderators, Lars. He's always early. And when emotes, which is what emojis are called, are written into chat, they appear on screen. That's a widget I have, so people can make
Oh,
them. Yeah, exactly.
cool. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so excited to experience your Twitch stream. And I would really appreciate a Twitch tutorial after I get going with my own. And just huge gratitude and appreciation for everything you are in this world, everything you're doing, and the fact that we are connected through it all, Luna.
Thank you. I'm really, really happy to know you. And yeah, I'm excited. Later in Twitch stream, feel free to write in chat with any questions. People are really, really open to that space as well. So I'm really welcoming. So if you're seeing something that you don't understand or you need help with anything, just don't be afraid to just write in chat about it. See you 2 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah, and I would love to be able to let them know about the Leveling the Playing Field course if you'd be open to that. Um,
Yeah, feel free to shout it out.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much. I will let this be the end of our time before our shared time on Twitch. Thanks so much, Luna. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for having me. Take care.
Yay. You're amazing. I can't wait. Okay, bye.